So this is probably going to be the biggest video I've ever made so far. Might be in 3 parts, I'm not sure. But it's about probably the biggest topic in our religion that, and I really mean it, and it's so sad, honestly, makes people erupt in anger, whatever side they hear. Is music haram or is it halal? Or is it neither? No, it's haram! It's haram! And yes, I have seen those comments, by the way. And yes, it's on all capitals, and it's honestly very sad. It's haram, and it'll always stay haram till the day of judgment, and you will be questioned on this. Shame on you for misspreading information. First of all, Allah doesn't like that way of speaking, so respect others and respect the way you talk to them. Alright? And it goes with the other side as well. No, it's halal, and it'll always stay halal, okay? It makes me feel better, it calms me down, and nothing makes me calm down as much as music, alright? It goes both ways, and yes, in all capitals as well. I've seen literally the biggest topic, I think, that makes people just erupt in anger for some reason. I really don't know why. And again, guys, Allah does not like that way of speaking. It's sad. Now, of course, what do I think? What is my opinion? Well, I am honestly of the opinion of Sheikh al-Sharawi, which, if you guys know, you can see the YouTube video, just type Sheikh Sharawi music, and it'll pop up, which is basically what? Music is neither haram nor halal. It depends on the contents of the song. If it excites you, stimulates your instincts to act, basically, you know, clap, shake your body, dance, feel a little, you know, stimulated, you know what I mean? Things like that. It's haram. In that case, it is haram. And honestly, Sheikh Sharawi said it best, and I respect him very much for that, which is what? Since it's neither haram nor halal, it's up to you as a mu'min or mu'minah to judge for yourself what makes it permissible to you and what doesn't. But there are things that are very common. For example, a musical concert. All musical concerts are haram. Why? Because what do you do at a concert? Let's be real. Do you really stand there with no instinct stimulated whatsoever? Or do you stand there going, yeah, woo, and all of those things? Yeah, exactly. The other sad thing is, and honestly, I've seen it, there's literally a pattern, and it's very sad. I don't know the statistics, so I'm just gonna throw out a random number, okay? But to me, it's almost like 70 to 80% of people that claim music is haram are extremists. And please, guys, extremism is a dangerous path to take, and Allah does not love it. Why? Because extremism literally means you indirectly saying you know more than the Prophet. Because you're making something haram when it actually isn't. Well, it should be haram. It obviously does this, it does this, it does this. Was it mentioned that it's haram clearly? No, but it should be. Then you're an extremist. That's an extremist. And that's not a good thing at all. And I honestly hate that word. Because there's nothing extreme about it. You're either a person that follows the entire Quran, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it himself. You follow the Quran, you become a righteous servant. Or you follow some of it, which is most of us, you become a Muslim. Oh, and so the first one is basically a mu'min or mu'minah. A Muslim or Muslimah in that one. Or you don't follow it at all, and well, you're a disbeliever. So, yeah. Now about, of course, our famous surah in the Quran, which we need to address. Surat Luqman. You know, the verse that literally says, وَمَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ. Lahw al-hadith got people screaming at the top of their lungs. That is referring to singing, 100%. There's your proof. It's referring to singing and musical instruments and all this. And then you have others, no, it's not referring to that. Here's what it's actually referring to. It's both. It's referring to guys, this is our Arabic language. We know what lahw means. Lahw means entertainment. And obviously, al-hadith means speech. It means the entertainment of speech. Can it refer to singing? Yes. But can it also refer to reading stories, for example? Yes, storytelling. And by the way, the funny thing is, as Sheikh al-Sharawi put it himself, during the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when the message was still being delivered about, being guided to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the kuffar at that time, the ones who denied the message, were trying to basically mislead the people trying to listen to the Prophet ﷺ by reading them, reading them stories as a way of entertaining them. And when they are entertained, they don't listen to the Prophet ﷺ. That's why it said, مَنْ يَشْتَرِ لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلُّ بِهِ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. To misguide others, to mislead others, those that use the entertainment of speech to mislead others. That is the point. And they also brought singers, singers to entertain them, but again, the goal was what? To mislead them from listening to the Prophet. So there has to be the goal of misleading for it to qualify as a lahw hadith, an entertainment of speech, the one that was being referred to Surah Luqman. Of course, on to the very important point, which is honestly why I even made that video. First of all, before I get to that, what was I before I was still trying to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then the ticket to Allah situation came into my life and changed me and all these things. When I was still trying to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I always believed music was 100%, every genre, whatever, doesn't matter, the contents of the song is haram, 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 haram. And I would call out people, call them out and say what you're listening to is haram. This is the instrument of the devil. This is the voice of the devil. He's trying to mislead you from listening to the Quran. When I listen to music, I don't read Quran. And all of these things. Until I started getting even closer. And subhanAllah, I was actually praying istikhara to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so many times, asking Allah, Ya Allah, you know I'm trying to please you to the highest degree, not a high degree. If I am wrong, please let me know. Is it haram or is it halal? And I got redirected. And yes, I have listened to probably every sheikh you can think of. What they think about music, is it haram or is it halal? Every sheikh you can think of, except one. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directed me to. Is Sheikh al-Sharawi. And I was convinced. But there was something always looming in the back of my mind. And I know a bunch of comments are going to address it. So let's get to it. The famous Sahih al-Bukhari hadith. The one that says, the famous hadith which says, from among my ummah, there will be some people who will consider illegal sexual intercourse, the wearing of silk, the drinking of alcoholic drinks, and the use of musical instruments as lawful. And everyone keeps throwing that hadith at anyone that dares. Yeah, as I said, it really makes people enraged. That dares to say it's neither haram or haram or just halal or whatever. First of all, it's also not halal. It depends. And they throw that hadith around. And yes, I know. And the hadith has been proven to be authentic. It's authentic. It's sahih. It's in Sahih al-Bukhari, right? I have done extensive research on this because I'm going to be honest, that hadith has always been looming in the back of my mind even after Sheikh Sharawi's video for so long. And I always kept wondering, Ya Allah, you know I'm trying to please you to the highest degree, as I said, but I still, even though I see that hadith, Ya Allah, I still believe it's neither halal nor haram. I don't know what to do. You know I want to please you to the highest degree, so I would literally sacrifice any sin for you. Why are you not letting me leave it then? Is something wrong with the hadith? Is something I'm not understanding? But it says it's sahih, it's authentic, Ya Allah. So I've done extensive research on that topic. Extensive research. And we will discuss that in part 2. And yes, by the way, I have heard shuyukh discuss this. So many shuyukh discuss this. Is this hadith sahih? A lot of shuyukh said, yes, it is sahih and it's authentic. It's in Sahih al-Bukhari, guys. So yes, musical instruments are haram and people will consider them as lawful. And that is the ummah that our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is referring to and whatnot. But is the hadith actually authentic? I have done massive research on this, and not just simply following whatever people say. No, that's actually advice to all of us. Don't just listen to whoever speaks without at least doing research to confirm what they're saying, and not just simply believing them because, you know, they're shuyukh, or because they know more than you, and whatnot. Try to still do your own research, guys. Use your minds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to you, right? We all use our minds. Even if they are smarter, let's do our research as well. Just confirm what they're saying. We don't just blindly follow, right? Exactly. So that is what I did. I tried so hard, and I don't even know anything about hadith literature, but subhanallah, I learned so much just from that extensive research on what hadith literature is, how we actually trace hadiths to make sure they're authentic. Now there's two things we need to know for that before we get to it. So there's hadith that are referred to as musnad. Musnad means it traces 100% all the way back to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Meaning, if you try to trace the hadith by going from narrator to narrator, you will find, so for example, I am the previous narrator, the current narrator right now that I gave you this hadith. And the previous narrator to me, I claim that I heard from, we trace back to him, you find the words are exactly similar, no difference, the same exact words, no meaning changed, anything. Then you trace back to the previous, you trace, till all the way you reach the original, which is of course what? Who? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is musnad, meaning it's 100% traces back to Prophet Muhammad, and you can all trace him. But there is another one that is referred to as mu'allaq. And what does mu'allaq mean? It means the chain is not continuous. The chain got broken in the middle. Meaning there is a narrator, certain narrator that is missing from the chain. So for example, me, Ahmed, I heard this narrator from Aidil. But you look back at Aidil's life, and you realize I was not born when he was alive. You know what I mean? I was not born when he was alive. So how can I have claimed to have heard from him when I wasn't even born to hear it from him? So there, what does that mean? That means there has to be a middleman between us. And I omitted that middleman. Why? That is what means mu'allaq. And it literally means left hanging. Exactly, left hanging. The chain is broken. It's not continuous. Well, there's a bunch of reasons for that. By the way, I'll be putting the link, don't worry, in I guess a comment that I'm going to be putting in each video, because it's going to be, I think, 3 parts. Honestly, I'm not sure how many parts yet. But yeah, because it's such a long topic. So obviously, I can't talk about the entire article, but I can at least give some points in the article. First of all, you ask anyone that knows how hadiths work, and they will tell you this exact thing. What is Sahih al-Bukhari's hadith about the musical instruments, the one about from my ummah, the one that people love to throw around? That is not musnad. It's actually mu'allaq. Meaning there is a narrator that is missing. Meaning the chain does not, it's broken. It can trace back to the Prophet, of course, but the chain is broken. So there is someone in there that's missing. Why? And again, I'll be leaving the article in the comments, so please, because I know how much this topic excites people and makes them angry and all these things, read the entire article before you start commenting and saying that it's haram, it's always haram, and, turn into extremism and literally the thing I just mentioned. There's literally a famous hadith, guys. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said it 3 times. Those who go to extremes are doomed. So as I said, this is a very, very long article, so you'll have to read it. As we said, we're going to get to hopefully the main points as we're saying. What is wrong with the hadith? If you try to look at every different version of the hadith, you will find the words are different. Some of them are very short, some of them are very long, and then there is one thing, neither of them have the part musical instruments even mentioned. Just the part about alcoholic drinks. And moreover, Sahih al-Bukhari himself put it in the section of alcoholic drinks, because he was referring to the people that basically name alcoholic drinks by different names so they can make them lawful. In other words, for example, I say beer is haram. So you say, well, I'm not drinking beer, I'm drinking wine. Or I say, well, okay, well, wine is also haram. And then you say, well, I'm drinking vodka. See what I mean? That was what the Bukhari was referring to. But there literally was no part whatsoever about musical instruments. There is not even a section in his book about musical instruments, because if he did mean also the musical instruments part, but remember the hadith is mu'allaq, not musnad, then he would have put a separate section for musical instruments. And any hadith expert would tell you, because Sahih al-Bukhari is known for always making sections for every part that he wants to make his proof or his legal arguments to being presented, because that's what Bukhari does. Subhanallah. So what is the most reliable version of that hadith? The actual authentic, completely musnad one. That would be, people from my ummah will drink khamr, calling it by a different name. And that clearly coincides with the part where Bukhari made the section literally just about alcoholic drinks. Subhanallah. So there's a very important part. Literally says, a great expert on hadith science and Sahih al-Bukhari said that every part of that hadith that we're talking about in Bukhari has been criticized by, again, hadith experts, keep in mind, the ones that actually trace back and don't just say it's authentic, except the mention of alcoholic drinks. That's the only part they did not criticize. Again, coinciding with Bukhari putting the section in just alcoholic drinks. Anything else, fabricated. And they literally said what I just told you, which is what? Had the rest of the hadith's content been reliable, the hadith experts are saying, he would have extracted from it more points of fiqh knowledge for new section headings elsewhere in the book, such as a section on musical instruments. You know, the biggest one. Exactly. And that's why the hadith experts are actually saying, those who use this hadith for that reason as evidence against musical instruments, who Bukhari wasn't even using as that, are either misleading people, which I don't think that's actually the case, or just ignorant, which is probably 90% the reason, yeah. Because they don't know it's actually mu'allaq and not musnad. And Bukhari himself found it problematic. That's why he put it as mu'allaq. He omitted one of the narrators because one of the narrators, again, you'll have to read the entire article, one of the narrators is actually untrustworthy. Not untrustworthy because he's a horrible person, mind you, because he does not have good memory. And yes, he's known for that, so it's not the only hadith. He's not even included in a lot of hadith for that reason, because of his bad memory. And by the way, before anyone says maybe this article's biased or whatever, there's literally references all over the article where they got all the information and who the people are and who the hadith experts are and all of these things. And it's not just simply someone going at you and going, yeah, the hadith is sahih and it's authentic. Next question. No. As I literally just told you before, they literally say, even the hadith experts, neither was there any other hadith disparaging musical instruments in Bukhari's condition. So he did not even have a section dedicated to that at all in his book. So we'll continue in the next part. And I honestly think it's very sad that those that say that it's haram completely, well, I don't want to say mislead, but they don't mention the hadiths where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, you know, was sitting with Abu Bakr, and all of these hadiths we all know, where two girls were singing and he allowed every occasion, including the ones at the wedding and all of these things, he allowed them. Yes, he said it was a celebratory, it's Eid and whatnot, but do you really think the Prophet ﷺ the most righteous man on earth to exist. No one fears Allah more than him. So no matter what you do, you can never be more fearful of Allah than him. Basically just seen something haram happening and he just goes, well, it's Eid, so let them have fun. Really? Or because, well, you know, we want to teach, because I've seen people use that argument, well, you know, we want to show them that Islam is, you know, can also be fun. And you really think you would leave something that manipulates the minds of others, something that's haram, makes them not want to listen to Quran, all of these things, and he just goes, well, it's Eid, or it's a wedding? Or is it because maybe there's something else to it? Well, what could have been Abu Bakr referring to? He literally just called it the instrument of the devil in Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's house. Well, what were the girls singing about? They were singing about the battle of Bu'ath, the bloodiest battle. So it could have been what they were singing about brings back the feelings of hatred, because those two tribes that fought in that battle are now united under the banner of Islam. So maybe those old songs can basically divide them and make them remember what they did before. You know, it was the bloodiest battle, remember. And that's why Abu Bakr called it the instrument of the devil. And before you say anything, if that's a bad explanation, well, why did the Prophet allow it then? So please remember, guys, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said it himself. Anyone that doesn't follow my sunnah is not of me. That is what extremism is. It's you inventing things that the Prophet did not actually say. You saying something is haram, and I've seen people literally swear that music is 100% haram, and you will be asked on it in the Day of Judgment. And literally, it just reminds me of the whole pattern, as I told you. That is unfortunately what extremists do. They don't realize it, and that's the worst part. You don't realize it until it's too late. You start going extreme and extreme and extreme until you will actually not do any acts of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the Hadith said it himself. Those that go to extremes are doomed. And the Prophet said it 3 times, guys. 3 times. So please, guys, be very careful of extremism. I also wasn't aware of it, as I told you, when I was still coming closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, maybe in the beginning of my dua journey for, you know, the ticket to Allah who changed my life. As I said, I was always saying music is haram, and yes, I was doing the exact pattern of those people. I swear to you, the exact pattern. I was calling out people that are, I don't know, watching Arabs Got Talent or America's Got Talent, and I just go, don't listen to that, it's haram. All these things. And I wasn't even realizing it, that I was an extremist. I didn't even realize it. And guys, please, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself said this in Surah Al-Baqarah. Ayah, what was it? 265. He literally said, لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي. What does that mean? It means, let there be no compulsion in religion, for the truth stands out clearly from falsehood. And moreover, let me just address the whole Lahul Hadith once again. Now this time, my take. Do you really think Allah, the all-knowing, knows everything, knows the past, the present, and the future, put this ayah, Lahul Hadith? You know, by the way, the Quran is very clear. There is no interpretation. Everything is clear because it's Allah that wrote it. Do you really think He would put something that says Lahul Hadith to confuse us and have people just being divided and going, this was singing, no, this is stories, no, this is singing and stories, which it is, by the way. It's basically, by the way, just so you know, Lahul Hadith is basically anything that can lead you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in an entertainment of speech. So for example, reading a story. If I'm reading you know what, I will give you an example. The adhan starts, and I was reading a story. The adhan, the prayer started, and I was reading a story. And I went, well, I've got just one more chapter left and I finished the book. and I did not pray on time. In that case, that is lahu al-hadith. That is a lahu of hadith. Because what did it do? يشتري له الحديث ليضل به عن سبيل الله. So what did it do? It drove me away from Allah. It made me not pray on time, or maybe even miss the prayer, depending on how long the chapter was. See what I mean? And it was a story. Or oh yes, you were right. Or I'm listening to music. The adhan started. And I go, well, there's only 30 seconds left to the song. Remember how shaitan works, guys. Those 30 seconds are going to turn to minutes. And then the minutes are going to turn to hours. And then the hours are going to turn to the next prayer. And you've missed it. And now you go, well, better next time tomorrow, I guess. That's how shaitan works. Anything can be the instrument of the devil. Not just music, guys. Shaitan can use anything for evil. Anything. Even work. He can use work for evil. Yes. You know, like gambling. Those people that work at gambling sites like casinos. That's dirty money. That's haram. In that case, money is of the devil. Yes. Because he's using it for evil. See what I mean? Or of course, prostitution. Which you see people literally claiming that as, as work, as a job. Subhanallah. So do you really think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the all-knowing, would not, and remember Allah said it, if you follow the Quran, you are righteous. Of course, follow it to the T. Follow everything that was mentioned. And he just, astaghfirullah, forgot to put something that is clear about music being haram, when clearly he literally told you, the truth will always stand out clearly from falsehood. And people are confused about a surah in the Quran? Or is it because there's something else to it, as we said? It's because it's neither haram nor halal. It depends on the contents of the song. As Sheikh Sharawi said best. If it excites or stimulates your instincts, makes you dance, clap, basically doing something that ruins your dignity, then it is haram, yes, because you're listening to a song that is haram. The lyrics of it, even if there is no lyrics, but the song basically has, that romantic mood. And you're not with your wife, for example, listening to that song. You're with a bunch of people. It's haram. Especially if there's girls and boys in that same site where that song is playing even with no lyrics. Why? Because it can easily, lead to, we all know. So I hope I addressed everything. And as always, before I even make any video, I always, as we've taught ourselves, guys, as we said, we always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for permission first. We ask that He grants us knowledge. And we ask for His choice and not ours. So we know we make the best choice that He wanted us to make. Whether that is the good choice or the bad choice. Which is such a thing as bad. It's just a test choice. Subhanallah. And before I finish this video, I know there's going to be a bunch of comments because, as I said, this is literally the biggest controversial topic that makes people scream at each other. Please be respectful. And if I find your comment not being respectful, even if somehow it was right in any way, I will delete it. Alright? Because that is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encourages us to do. Ameen. And may Allah guide us all. And grant us al-Firdaus al-A'la, not al-Jannah. Ameen.